Welcome to the CEO Launch Podcast.
We are a dynamic mother-daughter duo bringing you personality, insights, and practical advice from two different generations of entrepreneurship.
We aren't just mother and daughter. We are also best friends and business partners.
I've watched my mom help thousands of entrepreneurs start the businesses of their dreams, including me. And now it's your turn. Hello, CEO Launch family. We are so excited to have you here for our 28th episode. I feel like so grateful saying that. We got to 28 episodes. We're still in the game. And we have more for you. You know, this is our holiday episode part 2, where we're kind of wrapping up the year and the season. And it's definitely a big time for reflection and just thinking about where we've come from the start to the end of not just this podcast, but 2020 in general. 2020 has been a lot for all of us, good, bad, ugly, in between. It has taken us to a lot of different places, and I'm happy that we're here. I'm happy that we're in the space that we're in, you know?
Yes.
And I'm excited about today's episode because we're going to remix it a little bit. And today is going to be a little bit different than our traditional episodes because we're not going to do our regular kind of framing of the episodes. We won't give you those beginning stories and the takeaways and things like that. You're still going to learn because we are educators and we're going to teach you in the best way that we can. But we wanted to bring our best friends to the show and just have a conversation with them just so that our best friends can talk about their experiences with us. So now I want to bring my best friend to the stage. Some of you may know her, some of you may not. Her name is Bernadette Harris. Hey, girl. Hey, girl. What's up? Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so delighted to be here. Oh my gosh, this is such an honor. No, just kidding. I know. Y'all probably like, they are too silly. So seriously, guys, this podcast has been so real. You have no idea. This is just how we are with each other. So, but seriously though, we're looking forward to just sharing a little bit of us, a little bit more of us with you on today's episode. So, hey, best friend.
Hey, best friend. Okay, so bestie, listen. I want to ask you a couple questions. You know, I'm becoming the queen of interviewing these days. I'm getting rather good at it. But I want to ask you, you know, personally, I've been in business. I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary. Or actually, I don't know how anniversaries work. You go to the day that you started, or it's like the month after you started? Because like the beginning of the year is not the same day as the end of the year. I don't know. Anyway, I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary of being an entrepreneur, and I'm pretty new to the game. But you have consistently kind of, I don't want to say groomed because some people don't have a good connotation with that, but just kind of trained me in the way of kind of getting into that space. But I'm curious, how did I influence you before I was an entrepreneur? And I'm going to challenge you outside of the regular, I just got to make sure you eat and breathe and like see that you could do anything, lessons that you usually give. What were some ways that I influenced you?
You influence me because you have a way, your approach to things. Like the way that you approach things is something that influences me because I am a hurry up. Like I wake up with an idea today and I'm implementing it tomorrow. That's usually how I operate. Whereas with you have an idea. You actually sit with that idea. And it's not to say that you overthink stuff. I don't think that that's the case. But you actually sit with your ideas. You actually think them through. You're very methodical in planning out stuff. Like even when we talked about doing the podcast, you know, I was like, let's start in July. No, I said, let's start June 1st. And you're like, no, mommy, I think we need more time.
Right.
I want to start. Let's start in July. You convinced me to start in July. And the extra time was very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But me, like, I will figure out how to fly that plane in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And you are the read the manual, like, no, we going to know how to fly it before we get
right,
in the air.
Right.
So that was that's influential because as much as we're alike, as much as we look alike, as much as we sound alike, as much as we act alike, a lot of ways we aren't alike,
Yeah.
and you have skills and you have personality traits that I don't necessarily have, and they're just complementary.
Yeah.
It's no beef, it's no jealousy. It's like, that's who you are, that's who I am. But I feel like those things are things that we kind of complement each other. So those are some of the things that influence me about you, or maybe even influence is probably not the best word. Probably more impressed.
Oh, wow. Press my mama, y'all. I done won. I think a lot of what you are saying is something I value about our overall relationship, because we are very complementary to each other. Like, I think on the surface, people see us and how we interact, and they think that we're like the same people. We look alike.
But we're really not.
We are really not. We are so different. And
yin and yang.
Yin and yang. And I remember growing up and people would be like, you want to be an accountant? You want to be an entrepreneur? And I'm like, no, I am not Bernadette Jr. Like, stop playing with me. Like, we just on completely different waves. And now that I'm older, we still definitely are on different waves. But I think we both teach each other different things from our vastly different perspectives sometimes. And I value that a lot. I value what we can both bring to the table, because I know when I come to you with something, you are going to tell me the truth, and you are going to make sure that I have an understanding of where you're coming from about that situation. Because 9 times out of 10, maybe 9.5 times out of 10, we might have a different perspective on something, but in the end, we kind of get to the same page. So I enjoy that about us.
Yeah, I agree. So now I have a question for you.
Okay.
How do you feel our relationship has changed since we started the podcast?
I definitely feel like we communicate a lot more than we did before. And just for reference for everyone else, we have always talked on a daily basis, but most people that know us, well, I'm a little bit different now, but in the past, we are big text communicators. So you and I would text daily, and it would kind of be like,
right,
I'm gonna send you a message and you'll respond when you can, and it might be a couple paragraphs or what have you, but we wouldn't necessarily verbally talk on the phone, FaceTime, things like that. Since the podcast has started, mostly because we can't text ideas, like full ideas, and like we can't brainstorm all the way together via text. And we've had to have, like, outside of the meetings where we actually record the podcast, the ones where we sketch out our episodes and figure out what our marketing strategy is going to be and all of those things, like, we have to have real conversations with that. And so we just kind of got into this routine of, talking with each other whenever those ideas popped up. And in the way that, like, being an entrepreneur cannot be confined to 9 to 5, like, we might have an idea at 10 o'clock at night and we got to talk it through, So I think it definitely opened us up to communicating more and in a different way. And even just, I feel like we talk more now than we probably ever have. And it's definitely a combination of the podcast. Is also a big part of it is the pandemic. Like, you was always home, but I'm home now too. So it's like, hey girl, what you doing? Let's FaceTime while I'm working and you working and all of that stuff. I think it's definitely brought us closer. And another thing I would say is it's helped me appreciate our differences. I know in the past, some of the things that are like so me and so you, like, I would just be like, all right, Mom, you got it. Like, it is whatever you want it to be. like it's yours. But when you have a partnership, like you can't just like shut down because somebody's idea is different than yours, or somebody is thinking about doing something in a way that you wasn't thinking about doing something, or you wasn't really trying to do it. And so it's made me become more of a open communicator about those ideas and about the things, and like respecting, you know, the things that you say and the things that you bring to the table, and appreciating that we are very different people and we complement each other well.
Yeah. So what have you learned about me? Like, I know that a lot of the stuff that we've been doing, and like you said, we've been communicating a lot. We've been on the phone together a lot. What are some of the things that you've learned about me that you didn't already know?
I think the most surprising thing is, I would say the most surprising thing is that I am more of a stickler than you. Like, you are surprisingly laid back about a lot of stuff that I just didn't expect you to be laid back about. Even to the point where when we had our launch party, one of my friends from college had texted me and was just like, your mom is so much cooler than I thought. And I was just like, yeah, she cooler than I thought too. Because I grew up with the drill sergeant that was like, clean this and get this together. And did you do your taxes at 10? So it's just like how chill you can be sometimes. It shocks me. I'm like, so you don't care? It's just, we could just do whatever? Oh, are you sure? Who is this? I've never met this woman before. So that part is always kind of funny to me that I am more of the, even in the beginning, like me being like, no, let's plan, like let's have something like on paper and sketch and all of this stuff, and you were just like, just bang bang, pull the trigger. I'm just like, wait. Where's my mom?
I think a part of that, yeah, you know what though? I think that this process has allowed you to see a different side of me, because like you said, you knew the mom who was on you about cleaning your room, or did you do your laundry, or go wash those dishes, or I didn't never really have to get on you about homework or none of that kind of stuff. But and so that's the mom that you knew, and you never met the professional version of me. And I've also evolved. Mm-hmm. And so there was a time when I probably was more of a stickler or even more of a planner, and just things have just changed for me. Like life has, I've grown a greater appreciation for life and things in life. And so it's just, things are just different. So that's really interesting to hear you say that. That I ended up being cooler than you thought. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's very cool. For you, like, what do you feel like has been kind of that monumental moment for you in 2020? Like the moment that kind of shifted a lot of things for you. It could be personally, within your business, whichever, that's kind of pushing you into 2021.
One of the things I think that was the most monumental for me this year, I've gone through a gamut of emotions, first of all. So when the pandemic first hit, there were so many uncertainties. Mm-hmm. And one of my biggest fears was, you know, like one of my clients is in the hospitality industry, and overnight she just lost all these contracts because, you know, events were being canceled left and right. And she had like big events, and just kind of dealing with that with the client, and just, you know, kind of working through that. And then one day the realization, I don't know if it was a day or a moment, but it hit me like, shoot, if my clients go out of business, then I'm going to go out of business too. Mm-hmm. And so there was that fear. Mm-hmm. That I felt in that moment. And then there was, you know, all the legislation came out, and we got PPP and EIDL, and I was helping clients through that process, and clients were getting funded, and people were able to stay in business and be able to stay. And I was able to, you know, stay in business. I was funded. And so then at that moment, it helped me to realize how important my role was, because sometimes I can say that there were times when I didn't recognize important my role was to my clients. And in those moments, I realized how important my role was. And I also realized how many business owners needed what I have. And I had been kind of like falling back, like I wasn't really putting it out there. So I feel like that was a pivotal moment for me for 2020, and it's really pushed me to do more educating, to do more helping. I've hired hiring people so that I can serve more clients. So I don't know if I answered your question, but I feel like 2020 has just been that year that's just been full of so many emotions and so many feelings. So I'm ready for 2021.
What you ready for? What's happening? What can we expect? Or wait, is it a secret?
No.
Okay.
It's not a secret, but the things that I'm ready for is, one thing, I'm launching a mastermind in 2021, and so that's something that I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to serving more clients. I have some things in the pipeline, and I can't say anything about them right now because I don't know. But just watch out. It's a lot of good stuff coming. But I'm truly looking forward to serving more entrepreneurs, keeping them as business, helping them put those foundation pieces together and understand like that business part of it. So what you looking forward to?
I am looking forward to, I think, really refining the work that I'm supposed to do in this space. Like, I've spent most of this year kind of navigating and figuring out who is Kenya as a business owner, and what are my values, and what are my principles, and what are the things that are important to me. And so for 2021, I'm really going to stand firmly in those values and like just activate the things that are important to me, advocating for groups that I feel like are marginalized in the workplace, and creating services for the gaps that I see at work, in education, all of those different things. So I'm just excited for the growth really of this year, and the different lessons that I've been able to pull out for myself and for other people, to kind of get to the point of like, okay, I know what we're about to do. I know what's about to happen next. So
2021 is going to be, every year is my year. So even 2020, I feel like I've learned so much, done so much, accomplished so much. 2020, even with its downs, it had lots of ups. And so 2021 is just going to be even more awesome. So should we tell them about what to expect next year?
Yeah.
For the podcast?
Yeah. So next year, we will not be starting again in January. This will be our, I don't want to say last episode because I don't want y'all to get scared or nothing like that.
No.
Right.
See, like a season finale. This is our season finale.
Yeah. This is the end of Scandal, and you can't wait until it pops back up. But we're not going to do you like Shonda did you. We're going to come back in February. So the first Wednesday in February will be our next episode. And we are really excited about what this next season is going to look like. I think you all have been growing with us, and we are growing with y'all and making sure that we're still bringing you valuable content, funny stories, great life lessons that you can apply to business and just your regular smegular daily life operations.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for being with us all through these 28 episodes, and we'll be back in February. And in the meantime, if you have not listened to all of the episodes in our first season, go back and listen, so you'll be ready for us when we come back in February, right? And don't forget to join our Facebook group, The Efficient CEO Movement, and follow us on social media. That was Kenya's line. I just stole it.
You did, but do it.
We'll see you guys next year.
And don't forget to take off.
This is a Clearwood production.